On August 21st, a little town proclaimed the prettiest in Ontario was damaged by an F3 tornado, decimating parts of Goderich, leaving areas unrecognizable. Our cameras captured some of the damage firsthand. On August 21st, the town of Goderich, Ontario was hit by an F3 tornado.
It's been absolutely crazy.
With winds reaching up to 300 kilometers an hour, the tornado uprooted trees, damaged homes and businesses, and century-old buildings. When it was over, at least 37 people were injured and one man was killed. Delbert Schufelt is mayor of the town of Goderich. While on vacation, he says he got a phone call no mayor wants to receive.
I had a call from a resident who had my cell phone and said the square was devastated. So we started back in the car. We called the state of an emergency because we knew coming back that the situation was very, very severe.
The scene that welcomed him, he says, was unlike anything he'd ever seen in his 21 years in office.
I was totally stunned. I describe it as a war zone. It's something that you would see on the TV from Afghanistan. And I know that that's a funny relationship, but that's exactly standing in the middle of that. And 15 or 20 cars, some of them upside down, some of them that had been rolled down the street.
Now, in some parts of town, you'd never even know that a tornado touched down. But in other parts, it's hard to even imagine what some of these homes and businesses look like. But the people of Goderich are rebuilding, and the town's churches and strong faith communities are helping them do that. Perron Goodyear is the Ontario Great Lakes Divisional Director of Emergency and Disaster Services for the Salvation Army.
The local team started gathering supplies for food and hydration services here at the evacuation center so that the people that were being displaced, as well as any workers, could come and get something to eat, get a rest, as well as we can provide emotional and spiritual care for folks.
The United Nations has called it the worst hunger emergency in a generation, leaving over 13 million people in the easternmost tip of Africa starving. And while the Horn as a whole is facing drought, in July, Somalia became the focus after the UN declared famine in southern and central parts of the country. And that's why thousands are walking from Somalia to the Dadaab refugee camp in northeastern Kenya, where Bear has been working.
Dadaab is along the border of Somalia, just probably about 80 kilometers in from that border inside Kenya. It's in a very arid area, so it's desert. You fly into Dadaab and it's clusters of camps that have been set up to respond to the refugee situation.
Originally a refugee camp for people fleeing civil war in Somalia in the 90s, Dadaab, meant to house tens of thousands, now holds close to 400,000 Somali refugees.
Particularly since April and May, there's been a stream of people, between 800 and 1,000 people per day arriving at the camps with severe need. So you'll see people having come upwards of 25 days walk and arriving in very desperate situations.
Across Canada, people of faith are standing up for the Horn. Two organizations helping them do that are Urdo and Crossroads Missions. Founded in the 1980s, both Urdo and Crossroads Missions were there during the Ethiopian famine. More than 20 years later, they've returned to the Horn to assist in the relief effort.
I can't imagine what it would be like to have to look at your child and say, I don't have. We have to go somewhere, we have to walk somewhere. I just can't. We've sold everything we've got and we still don't have enough. And forces that are larger than me and larger than my community and larger than my region have created this environment, and we have to go.
David Adcock is CEO of Urdo, the emergency relief and overseas development arm of the Pentecostal Assemblies of Canada, an organization that includes more than 1,100 churches across the country.
We've actually delivered food to 6,000 families. Because our aid is a little under the radar and working through local organizations in communities, our food has already got through.
At Crossroads Missions, Director of Missions Dave Shelley says the ministry is targeting families outside of Dadaab.
There's so many more within Kenya and Ethiopia and other places that need help as well. We're trying to find the pockets of people that are being kind of left behind because they're not in that large refugee camp.
But for those who do choose to make the trek, Shelley says they're doing what they can to help them reach their final destination.
We're targeting actually the people escaping from Somalia. So they're on the road They're getting a small food handout while they travel. They're escaping from Mogadishu into Ethiopia or across the border into Kenya. So it's really helping them make that journey.
Since the inception of the Pan Am Games in 1951, Canada has historically sat in third place with 1,577 medals in total. Well, this year, Canadian Jessica Phoenix added a couple more to that count.
Hey Trix, you want to go for a walk, baby?
Shortly after receiving a pony for her first birthday, Uxbridge, Ontario native Jessica Phoenix started riding, and a dream was born.
I absolutely fell in love with it, and it has been my passion for years. Ever since I can remember, had the dream of representing Canada and winning gold medals for Canada.
And she did just that. 28-year-old Jessica and 9-year-old Pavarotti led the three-phase eventing competition at the Pan Am Games in Guadalajara, Mexico, and won gold. This was Canada's second individual gold in this event in Pan Am history.
It still seems pretty surreal.
With her flawless performance, she also led her Canadian eventing teammates to a silver medal.
It's a very surreal feeling. It's absolutely a dream come true, and I think it's a team of people, a group of people that have got me to this point, and whenever you see any athlete standing on the podium, you just have to know that it's because there's a group of people behind them, from your family, all of the supporters, our coaching, all of our support staff. It is an incredible feeling to stand on the podium and to see your country's flag flying in the wind above all of the other countries' flags, and to hear your anthem played. It's huge national pride. It was just an incredible experience.
Jessica will be the first to tell you that it is her faith in Jesus that helped propel her to the finish line.
It plays a huge part in my life. Having the love of God being with you all the time in all of your travels. I mean, just knowing that He's with you all of the time and being able to talk openly with Him, and just knowing that He has a plan, and I just truly believe that He has a plan for all of us, and I just think it's so exciting to wake up every morning and just see what He has in store for us every day. Through the good and the bad times, it amazes me every single day.
For the past 5 years, Crossroads has worked in northern Uganda, helping its people rebuild after over 20 years of war. Well, this year we ask you, the viewer, to once again partner with Crossroads and the Canadian International Development Agency as we tapped into hope.
As we've been saying, unsafe water is everywhere, and more than 1 billion people on this planet have no access other than to unsafe water. Now, case in point, we're in the really the backcountry of northern Uganda. This is Colleen. She's 12 years of age, and she's going down to get some water for her household. And you know, it's mostly little girls who carry the water for families, and so she's a good case in point. It weighs about 60 pounds. She's just a little person herself. But let's follow her down to the water source. Okay, Colleen, let's go. Now here we are at a water hole which provides water for an entire community. And Michael, who is with me, is a part of the community. He lives here. And Michael, I want you to talk to me about this water. I mean, I'm looking at the water and I'm seeing mud water, and yet the people are using this to drink?
Yes, exactly. This is the very water the people around here, almost about 7 villages, use this water.
And they cook with it, they wash with it?
They cook with it, they wash with it, and even they drink.
Now, when you say drink, they drink it like this, or do they filter it somehow?
No, some of them, when they fetch this water, take to their places, some of them boil the water, others can filter with the handkerchiefs, others even just drink just as like
drink it as it is?
Yes, exactly. Many visitors visit this water, and we have seen no result.
So you've had...
Especially politicians.
Yeah, politicians,
yes,
yeah.
Exactly.
So a lot of people taking pictures, a lot of people using it as an example, but nobody helping you.
No.
Yeah.